really expect this man to be almost an underdog on a losing streak against people. But he's on a losing streak against his opponents in this best of 5 in the quarterfinals of WardiTV October. We introduced to the top left corner of the map the Red Terran player representing Team Liquid, your world champion of StarCraft 2. This is Clem. In the bottom right, former world champion of StarCraft 2, multi-time world champion of StarCraft 2, Katowice victories and all sorts. It really was one of the very best, and still has some of that magic when he plays. Great to see him in this event. It is Rogue in the bottom right corner of Oceanborn. Alright, I'm just going to take a moment, guys. That last series was a pretty wild one. I'm just going to take a moment to catch my voice a little bit and take a little bit of a breather as we obviously open up in this series and things will be calm, at least for the first few moments. Just take a moment, chill it out, and see what will happen as... Let's see if Clem did his homework after the last Clem Rogue match. Yeah, I mean, Clem's not been invincible, I think is one of the things to definitely note, right? He's not been unbeatable. He lost to Shin yesterday, and lost to Shin in one of the longer games as well. This wasn't just like a Shin cheesy kind of like boom, boom, bang, gonna win. No, he lost to Shin in some longer games too, so you gotta say that Clem is maybe not, like I say, the invincible Clem that we know he can sometimes be. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with sometimes having a little bit more excitement in play for our point of view, right? So I'm okay with it. I generally go into this wondering what kind of series we're gonna see and seeing who we're gonna, seeing who comes out the other side, Am I going to be going to Home Story Cup? Yes, I will be at Home Story Cup next month. Should be a lot of fun as we see our Reaper. Just heading down to the bottom right corner of the map. So just going to be coming straight across there with that. As the reactor comes in, the factory coming about. Just going to be seeing the Reaper firing up a couple of shots. Ling already taking some damage. Drone gets popped around. The other Lings come back over as well. Queen pulls back over. Reaper going to get chased away. Just going to be seeing the Ling speed coming through. Grenade goes down. Creep Teamer gets picked up. A couple of Lings get out to the front. Then just going to be able to chase that Reaper away once more. Just going to chase that out of there. Push that back for the moment. Queen gonna shoot. Reaper will take some shots. We have ourselves the Ling speed and the Queen's all building up for the moment. Having ourselves the command center and the starport coming online as well. Does that mean Rogue's the best ZVT player since he beat the best TvZ player? Well, I mean, if you beat the best ZVT player, you kind of have to beat everyone, right? Rogue seems to specifically have a good time against Clem. I'm going to bring it up and just say that I think when Clem lost to Rogue in the Kung Fu Cup, I knew he was pretty sick that day. 3-0, I don't want to take it away from Rogue. Losing to him in the Big Leo League Cup, that was a bit more of a shocker. That's what I'm really looking at. And you know what? That was one series. If Clem comes back and just fires back at Rogue here full force and he's just fine, then I don't think we've got really much to discuss. But, yeah, obviously if Rogue wins again, then we've got to kind of discuss why does Clem have such a difficulty against this Korean Zerg? As our Hellions are not going to be a great defense here because a lot of them are out of position. So 5 SCVs going down. The first run by of the game from Rogue is going to come through and do damage. 7 SCVs down. Ling's still in the main base. SCVs off the mineral line in the natural. Rogue is the first to draw blood. The run by looking beautiful as the Hellions come through, picking off a few more Zerglings. And another few Lings are going to come forward again as they're just going to run into the natural. And a couple of those Lings get turned around immediately. Banshee popping out. Second Banshee lining up. We are going to have a factory swapping away from the reactor and moving away from Hellion production to free up that reactor most likely for barracks and get into some nice strong marine production for the next stage of the game. Clem losing some SCVs early is going to take a little bit of the wind out of his sails and definitely will push him into a little bit of a tougher spot for the next few moments of the game. See if Clem can bounce back with anything. Obviously, the Banshee is one way to do that. Potential Banshee damage could be absolutely huge. So, possibilities there. The Hellions coming back down the left-hand side, trying to get in position, see what else is going on. Back to finishing up. Barracks is going to be finishing. Starport comes over to the edges as well. It's going to be seen now. Stimpack coming through. The engineering base coming online. Barracks still in production. SCVs coming by. And the Hellions get to the right side where they're going to go roasting up that hatchery. So hatchery will be taking a few more shots. The rest of the Lings coming back over as well. Going to go aim for that SCV. Pick that off immediately. Just trying to hit at the front. A couple of those depots. And one of them's going to go down, giving access for these Lings to move in. The other couple Marines pulling up that ramp, and Lings just being in here is kind of a big deal. Clem's in trouble. I mean, SCVs have to pull into fight, try and buy some time. 7, 8 workers going down again. Now 9. Do we get to 10? No, as the Hellions, man, they are low. They're going to need a repair or two. And Rogue just kind of brute forcing his way in. And it's constantly SCVs on the kill tab on the side of the screen. We've not killed a drone in this game. Yes, Rogue's given up quite a few Lings. Does that matter when you've done that much damage? Finally, our first blood on a drone. 2 drones go down. As the Banshee finds something, he comes back in for number 3 as he knows he needs anything he can get right now. 1 Banshee already dead as well. Clem really is kind of grasping at straws currently in terms of how do I step back into this. I guess one way you look at it right now, army supply for Clem's okay. Rogue is still droning. One way Rogue could lose is he just keeps droning and then boom, you just come in as Clem and bam! Just going to be able to kind of fly through and do very well right as the Banshee comes around the right side. 1-1 upgrade still coming up. Bane speed's halfway done. The Hydraless Den building from Rogue as well. We continue to get that online. As we do have the +1 attack, the Medevac and the Marines continuing to come across. Hellions, Marines stepping up, and the Marines will get there to pick off an Overlord in the center. So that Overlord will go down. Overlord will fall. The Banshee going to pull back toward the top side. A couple of SCVs will pull to go and repair. Marines are going to step up. We are going to be seeing a little bit of a attack onto this hatch. So hatch already taking some damage as well. Lings continue over. A couple Banelings going down also. Queens also taking hits right now. So the Queen's taking damage. The hatchery still taking some shots also. The Overseer overhead. First Queen goes down, Clem. So that's a little bit of an army supply lead. Hellions are going to try and protect that siege tank. Tank going to turn onto the Banelings as well. Off creep, and I don't think Rogue should still be chasing. Clem's going to take a fantastic fight. The Banelings do nothing. And Clem is going to hold that position up in army supply. And now Rogue has to go back to the build tab and put some more Banelings in production. Marine's going to jump onto this hatchery. And this base is in a little bit of trouble. There's plenty of Queens. There's transfusions available. Rogue is about to finish 1-1. He's got a much larger wave of units this time around. There should be less of an issue for Rogue in terms of cleaning up. Clem's got a few Marines running in from the left-hand side to play reinforcements. He's going to have to lift the units on the right side. The units from the left are going to show up. He's now going to drop the units from the Medevac back down and essentially join this up as one big army. Rogue's going to start running in towards this Clem. Because he's only got 1 Medevac on the left, he's going to try and target fire, and he's going to get all the Banelings, but the Lings had a full surround. So while the Baneling target fire was perfect, the Lings do still play cleanup. And Clem taking a decent fight, but needs to kind of finish up some upgrades before he keeps on fighting. Armory done soon, so he can start up the 2-2 upgrades. Ling Bane Hydra still coming by as the rest of the Ling Hydra gets into the center. Marines will step forward. An Overlord goes down immediately. The Ling Hydra still coming through. Marines show up on the left side. Another tank sieging. The tank in the front going down as well. We're going to keep on fighting here. More Lings are dropping, but the tank's dead. Hydra's coming through. Tank goes down again, and I think Rogue might just have enough momentum to punch on through and not have to stop. Hydras are very powerful if they outnumber the opponent. And Clem, he has no combat shields. He finished him a while ago. He never started up combat shields. Those Marines did look naked in the previous fight. I thought it was on the way, but it wasn't. So, mistake from Clem there as Rogue does stop for a second. But, like I say, those Hydras in a spread right now are looking dangerous. Scared of perhaps of the siege tank that will be sitting a bit further back, and obviously they're about to have speed, which would be very useful to be able to engage in much more comfortably and easily. I think that's almost an essential play in the near future as the Lings and Hydras come up this right-hand side. Gonna see a few Lings coming in from the bottom. Actually gonna have those Hydras continue to play the chasing game. Marines in some trouble. Medevacs maybe in some issues as well. 1 Medevac goes down. Second Medevac taking a couple of shots. Another couple Lings go down as well. 2-2 upgrades still coming through. The combat shield coming online. Additional Marines are producing from Clem. Lings and Hydras. Well, we're going to move a few of those Lings into Banelings. The rocks will go down. Couple creep tumors coming up. The Banes continue to produce. 5 is on the way, and we start to step down to the low ground and moving up to the top of the map. That 12 o'clock base may be in some trouble. Lings and Hydra start to get toward it. The Banes and Ling is going to turn back around onto those Marines, going to chase that back. Couple of Banelings not really reaching though, and Rogue is not able to get far enough forward. He is doing the right thing at home. He's teching into Hive, he's teching into Lurker Den. He's putting himself in a position to be able to win this game, even if he can't do it on the Ling Bane Hydra. And that's exactly what he needs to be doing right now, as he is losing a few units, but the Banelings do start to connect, and he will push back Clem. It's just not coming as easily as he might have initially hoped it would. Wow, scrappy game. I love it. Clem playing from behind, having to try and get back in is sometimes maybe some of the most fun StarCraft 2 to watch. He is such a good player, kind of turning an attack into a defense and kind of scrambling in situations a lot of the time, something Clem is very good at as well. Like I say, it makes it a very entertaining watch a lot of the time as SCV's mine up to the 12 o'clock. Refinery's coming online. One Queen in the front goes down. The Ling's going to try and capitalize. Of course, Medivacs can play the retreat. Now I've got Seismic Spines on the way up. We're counting down into those Lurkers being fully upgraded and fully operational. That's going to be when Clem perhaps faces some more trouble again. Of course, Clem is, on his way to maxing out, but it's not going to be with any sort of, real tech in play. It's just going to be bio tank. He's not set up to have libs. He's not set up to have ghosts, and that will be the issue as Lurkers come onto the field. So that's where Rogue is, maybe not as convincingly ahead in supply as you might expect, but he is kind of convincingly ahead in other ways, and that's going to be what really counts at the end of the day. Clem tries to go straight to 3-3 as Rogue goes +1 missiles, +3 carapace. The tanks again on that ramp covering that do a pretty decent job. Like I say, we can't be too far from seeing some Lurkers decide to morph in, although the only issue now might be Rogue figuring out how he morphs the Lurkers in, as his Hydra seem to be consistently caught up trying to fight this army. Clem has to stim again. These stims are really hurting him because he's actually pretty low on medevac energy. Healing is not a guarantee right now, as Rogue is also expanding bottom left. I just love how controlling Rogue is becoming on the game. Maybe dives a bit too far there and just goes a little bit too far up before turning it back around. Could have maybe been a little bit neater on that one. Tanks will siege. Ling's trying to step up. A couple changelings moving in from the left-hand side. The Ling Bane Hydra continue to come through. Siege tank in the front goes down immediately. The rest of the Marines are going to stand and fight. Bane goes down. The Ling's getting chased. +1 missiles, +3 carapace, all coming through. 9 additional Lurkers coming out. As we are going to be seeing the Ling Bane continue to crash into those Marines. The Lurkers are going to start to burrow up. We keep on pressing forward. Ling's taking shots. Tank fire is good. 3-3 upgrades are, about halfway done from Clem. Like I say, with Lurkers out, it becomes a much more challenging situation. Love this from Rogue, a run-by attempt onto that new base. He's going to start losing a little bit of his creep spread, but he's got the map so well enveloped in creep. I'm not sure how worrying that is. Actually going to kill 7 SCVs there before the planetary comes online. Lurker's going to try and run in and force these Marines to lift, which they will do. The tanks are blasting that Lurker, though. A couple of those Lurkers went down already. Again, that base did survive, but a lot of the SCVs on it went down. Rogue's supply is still not really holding out. Rogue's issue is still that he's not trading very well, I guess. Resources lost 8k different. And Lurkers will sit here and pick away at some more of those bio units. Medevacs healing up as we pull back over to the left-hand side. Couple Lurker shots still firing away. Grade 3 is about to complete from Clem, so again, another set of upgrades for him to work on here. Maybe something he can be impactful with is the Spore Crawler taking a few more shots. Tank firing away, Spore Crawler dies. Marines are going to step forward as well. 3-3 still coming through. And the +2 missile upgrade coming up as well. A couple of Lurker shots still firing up onto the Marauders. What would these Lurkers like to do now as the couple of Vipers take their step forward? Here we go, man. Big arc. Rogue comes in from kind of all across the screen. He's going to smash through the siege tanks and the units. The bio are going to have to just go running. There's not really an easier getaway than that. Just back up and try and get back to your planetary fortress, perhaps, as Rogue has Banes to keep on chasing as well. Like I've mentioned before, the Medevacs have been constantly healing, so they're constantly drained on energy. However, here are the Ghosts. And if there's one thing that can turn games of TvZ around, we know Ghosts should pretty much be it. Fantastic unit, fantastic ability on it. Snipes are extremely powerful in this TvZ matchup, and that ain't changing anytime soon. That much is for certain. Tank Viking gonna fire. Viking's gonna get rid of the Overlord there. A couple Marines and the Ghost will be there to pick off the Nidus. The tank will get picked off by the Zerglings. Lurkers are gonna burrow up, and the Bio gonna get pushed back immediately. A few Banes are gonna turn around the other direction. Ling's gonna try and push up to the top. But missing splash damage, so those Lings fight against a choked up set of Marines. The Planetary ain't gonna survive, though, I don't think. SCV's gonna repair this in time. The Snipe's coming through, and Clem is gonna keep the Planetary alive. He's gonna wipe the Lurkers off the field, and he is gonna get the cleanup. Snipes coming through. The Marines stood in the corner, tanked so many of those Zerglings initially, and like I said, none of the splash damage got to that Bioforce. I thought at the very least Rogue had bought himself time to kill the base, but not killing the base? Rogue's never been super far ahead on money. Now he just took a terrible fight. Resources lost at a 14.4k difference, and Clem has a 50. Almost 60 army supply lead. I had to just double check my math was right there, because I was like, oh my god, he's almost double the army supply of Rogue in that moment. What a ridiculous hold by Clem as Marines, Marauder coming down the right-hand side, getting into this mineral line. Drones will begin to drop. Workers going down. Banes are going to show up. The Marines load back into Medivacs. They are going to peel away. A couple of changelings going down as well as a few drones get picked away at 11 drones going down. Hydras and Lurkers continue up, +3 melee in production as well for the moment. Parasect bombs will land onto those two Medivacs. Bit of damage being done on that right-hand side. Pushing some damage out over there as Parasect bombs should fade. As Medivacs are low, though. Easy pickoffs later on. Rogue is going to get to rebuild, but I just don't know if it's... I mean, he still has a lot of the map. So it's hard to really kind of say that Rogue's not going to have this, but at the same time, it's hard to say he's going to have it after the previous couple fights. I mean, we're only on 8 Lurkers right now. This is otherwise just Ling, Bane, Hydra, and I mean, you look at the numbers, 76 Lings, 3 Hydras, and 15 Banes. The Hydra count's low because he's morphing into more Lurkers, 4 additional coming online as the Overseer fleet is here, trying to protect those Lurkers, trying to block the view of the Snipes. Make it difficult for Clem to target correctly as the Nidus sets up. We are going to be seeing the Lurkers in that Nidus swarm. If that gets up in the main base, that could be another swinging point of this game. Lurkers in the main are very tough to deal with. The tank is not going to be there in time. The Lurkers are out. The Bio did not realize it, and we are going to start putting some kills in. However, a couple of ghosts are nearby. Some of the Lurkers getting sniped initially. Tank shots are good. Lurkers are getting blasted, but there is still Lurkers in range to pick off some of this production, and getting up this ramp is going to become a challenge here. Ling Bane going to try and make a move on the other side. A liberated defense is not going to be too great. These last few Lurkers standing strong-ish, but not going to last forever. This was an easier cleanup for Clem than I think a lot of us envisioned. Those Lurkers do not have protection against them, which is currently the saving grace of him. And I don't think that was necessarily as much damage as Rogue was hoping for. When you get a successful Nidus up in the main, you're really hoping to get a lot done, and that obviously was not really, like I say, as much as I think he would have liked, considering that situation. Continue setup here on Oceanborn. Game 1 of this quarterfinal. We've had great games all day. Well, the night is coming about. Just going to be seeing ourselves the Liberators coming up, the Advanced Ballistics coming through. Clem looking to kind of tech up into those later stages of the game where he really feels like he can draw this out to an advantage and perhaps even a victory from what was initially obviously a rough position. Valinoriano, thank you so much. 2-year resubscription. Thank you so much for supporting for such a long time. Thank you so much indeed for supporting the channel and our tournaments such as this WardiTV October. Quarterfinals right now, Clem Rogue, game 1. Here on Oceanborn, passing the 20-minute marker. Ghosts gathering, Lingbane Hydra settling, Overseers overhead. You have a few Marines and a Marauder or so just going to step up onto the creep spread. A couple of those creep tumors already going down. Get ready for a chance to step forward here as Artifacts load back up, drop back down again. A few of those lurkers are going to get active onto the orbital command. Ooh. Kind of funny. I don't know if we needed a cloak there rather than just continue to attack, but all good. Saves a bit of HP on the ghosts. Can't complain about that. Ghosts are important. Good to keep them healthy. Oh, now some lurkers going to get sniped down. Bunch of lurkers taking a bunch of damage. Big damage dealt there, actually, as the Lings continue up in toward the third base here and just going to try and cause some trouble counter-attacking. Couple of barracks. Going to be taking shots. I mean, nice little run-in from Rogue. Obviously, more than anything, you're trying to distract at the same time, right? As we'll abduct there. So each time going to be in trouble to a couple of Hydras from the Blinding Cloud. The Banes roll in towards this base. They don't really kill much with those Banelings, though. That, again, feels like a bit of a flop from Rogue. A fight that doesn't really go far enough in his favor. 21,000 resource loss difference. Rogue has controlled a lot of this map. The resource loss difference is enough that Rogue is going to have to mine over a base more than Clem to really make up for it with the trajectory of this game. Which he's on track to do if the game just stalls out in this position and no one takes other bases, but I guess we'll see what happens as the Spore Crawler burrows up over on that left side. Ling Hydra settling, +1 flyer attack still on the way through. A couple of Liberators are coming up. The Starport is building. The Command Center is coming up. We're going to go diving in towards this top side. Ghosts are going to get caught. Good start to the fight from Rogue. Lings peel away to get the Siege Tank. This might be a base denial on the top, and I think that's kind of what Rogue needs to stop some of Clem's income. 13, 14 SCVs. Big step forward from Rogue. He denies that position. That's going to be absolutely huge for him. Yeah, big win for Rogue. Finally feels like he gets a win. It feels like the last few fights have been all about Clem. And Clem winning this, Clem defending that. This was a big one, especially as, well, okay, don't love the donation of Lings at the very end of it. But 28 SCVs killed, some shutdown on the economy. That feels like a big deal now. A lot of Liberators are out. We don't have a great response to them. Corrupt account is starting to grow. Lurker set up on the left side of these Lib Sieges. Nice gets taken out as well. Another couple of snipes trying to find their way onto that army. Corruptors, Lings, Hydra still all on the way up. Lurkers are popping out of a Nidus that got up in the same position as before. This time we're more aggressive with the Lurkers to go clean up the couple of tanks that were playing defense. That base on the right side from Rogue will go down. So while Rogue succeeded in getting rid of a base, he will lose a base as well. And that attack in the main, that Nidus is just not looking efficient enough to me. Once again, he's kind of just gifting those units away to the Liberator and the tank that were playing defense. Ling Hydra will try and be the defense over here. A couple of Corruptors, can they get forward and make the difference on those Libs? We don't really want to run all the ground army into those Libs right now. That seems like a horrible choice. Ghost snipes in the final night. Lurkers in this main base go down again. Definitely not the success you're looking for when you get a Nidus up in your opponent's main. You're hoping for so much more than that. And that's just not really what happens this time around. We will have I was going to say, we will have some changes going down. I mean, that was some rapid-fire ghosting there. They were going bum, 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 bum. One of the ghosts was like stuttering. It was like trying to fight at the changelings so quickly. Ling, Lurker, Hydra moving upwards. We're going to get towards the top side base, the top right side base. Corruptors turn into that first Liberator there. Brooks is going to type GG apparently. Well, this is okay. This is going to be a controversial GG in the chat, I can already tell. The reason he's going to GG is because he's kind of out of money and kind of out of units. I think he just, because you look at Rogue's supply, he's got 14 Corruptors, 12 Hydras, and just Lings. I think he doesn't feel as though he can do anything beyond this because he's got no minerals in the bank. And because he's got no minerals banked, he feels as though this game, if he loses this army, is probably just done, which... Yeah, I mean, at the point of the GG, you look at it, he's just down on army supply, and he just has no money to rebuild with. Like, he has no minerals to set back up with, and that's the problem. He knows that Clem's likely going to come back across and do serious damage. Clem doesn't have money, but he has the strongest standing army, and Rogue knows that. Like, when you look at these armies, 8 libs, 7 tanks, 13 ghosts, and Rogue knows that a lot of the army supply he does have is Corruptors, which are kind of dead weight against anything but the libs, but without the proper support, those Corruptors just die anyway. GG. Oh, they both started a worker. So we'll get into game number 2. Let's do this then. So yeah, just to finish on my thoughts. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. If you're on Twitch, hit follow. See when we're live with more StarCraft 2 action. watch some of the top players in the world play one of the very best games out there. As in the top left, bringing back that game number 1, our Red Terran player now here on Site Delta. This is Team Liquid's Clem. In the bottom right, our blue Zerg is going to be Rogue as we get into game number 2 of this best of 5. We get set up into this game 2. Take a moment to just breathe again. These early games are a bit of a respite from the madness we've been having. We've had some just great games today. It's been kind of non-stop awesome matches. 2-3-2 so far. This is our 3rd series of the day. Kind of hoping that we get another epic. Would love to see Rogue take a map or 2. Definitely think he's capable of it. Definitely think he's capable of it, so... Aldron moving about, Lings be coming in, Lings and a couple of queens on the way about as we get set in for the moment. Hatch goes down, a couple of Lings just going to go running after a Reaper for a moment or 2. Ling speed coming up, Hatch on the way, a few more drones in production. And settled in for now as a couple of command centers come online, the factory coming up, reactor also coming through. Ling and Queen together, just going to fire up and push that Reaper away for a moment. Game settling here. Just with that Reaper trying to find a bit of something. Rogue. So good early in that last game. It really does feel like such a sad wasted opportunity to get in with the Lings so many times to deal that much damage to Clem early in the game. It just doesn't happen a lot, right? Usually those are the situations you got to grab and run away with, and obviously Rogue failed to do that. That becomes a little bit costly. That becomes a little bit unfortunate. Yo, Fantasy, TY, Fanboy, thank you so much for the 44-month resub. Welcome back. Thank you for the support. Appreciate it. Here we gathers up. A couple Hellions coming over and get settled down. Queens moving up. Just going to be seeing a few more Queens on the way. Drones and Overlords continue to produce as well. We get ourselves settled for now. Just going to have our Reapers and the Hellions, or Hellions and the Reaper coming back through. Punch coming about, Hellions on the way. Orbital Command finishing shortly. Cloaking coming up and online. Queens will be there to push the other units back. Of course, no Lings really getting in just yet, so this is already looking a little bit better for Clem. And we'll see if this Banshee can do anything this game. One of the things last time was the Banshee. One Banshee died before any drones went down. The second Banshee was really pretty inconsequential as well. Yeah, it found a couple of drones eventually, but it was so late on. Really was not the best showing of the Banshees back in that game 1 as well. So not only was Clem the one taking damage, he really did not manage to find damage. Now, if Rogue can make that happen again, where Clem just can't find damage here, that could absolutely be a huge deal. So that's something we can definitely keep an eye on or so. Let's see how Queen's going to get there. Hellions get pushed away. The lair coming up. Spores continuing through. It's going to get Queen and a few Overlords continue to come about as well. He's going to get that. Actually, one Hellion going down. And she's going to fire up. A couple Queens get turned. Just going to be seeing our Lings trying to come across. Going to look for the wrap here on the Hellions and the Reaper. He doesn't get it. And now the Banshees put some good damage out on the Queens with no detection nearby. The Banshees get some really good shots off. Anytime Banshees are just stood firing, it's really good DPS. So even if they're just forcing transfusions, that's eating up some Queen energy. Now they're going to go to the natural while the Hellions try and dive to the third base. Queen Ling defense there is good. Good splits from Rogue. Honestly, outside of the Banshees getting a bunch of free shots off there, it's a pretty darn good defense from Rogue. He's only going to have lost 2 drones, a third one now, but he gets a Banshee. Honestly, very good defense from Rogue. I'm not hating it. I'm actually kind of loving it. I feel like that was actually very good for him so far as the Hellions pull back up the top side of the map. Again, 1-1 missiles and carapace coming through. The Groove Spines is on the way. The Overlord and a couple of hatcheries building as well, as our Hellions will just come forward there and pick off some creep spread. Queens are still trying to come over, and the Hellions are still taking some additional damage. Queens in the tank coming down at the bottom. Queens set up on the edge. The Hellions join together as well. Queen step up. Hatch goes down. A couple of creep teamers getting picked away at. So a bunch of that creep going to get taken out already. So a lot of that going down. Stand Hellions coming back around that left side. Missile upgrades, carapace upgrade coming through. Hive is starting, the Hydra's on the way. 14 additional Zerglings coming by also. Look, and then we'll start up. I get all of that producing for the moment. Queens is going to step up. A couple creep teamers going down. The Queens is going to step forward. The Marines are coming through. The few Lings is going to be coming about as well. Big fight here from Clem with the big stim. Rogue does not really have the supply apparently to hold on to this easily. I mean, Hydra's out trying to rush into the Hive and lurk at them, but Clem already being aggressive to put a bit of a stop to that. If Rogue can't hold on against this, well, then he just dies, obviously, but if he does hold on, he gets to very fast lurkers, maybe. The supply differential doesn't really matter too much because he has very good tech very early. Clem is building a 4th base, so he has a 4th CC coming through. Lurkers can morph in. Right now, Lurkerden is done. It's just a question of can we afford to put the Hydras into lurker morphing mode right away. And try and come through here. 22 additional Zerglings in production. Rogue trying to just stay out of range of the siege tanks and only fight when the Marines step forward on creep like this. When the Marines run into that Hydra arc. Again, just a step too far there, I think, from Rogue. Again, the moment you get hit by tanks, I think you want to back away. But he actually ate a couple of tank shots this time around. Look at Burrows. Hydra's trying to shoot. 2-2 upgrade, seismic spines all continuing to come around there. The Hydra's going to try and fire again. The few Marines taking damage. Charging up, just going to see a couple of those Lings begin to go down. Queen gathering. Again, seismic spines not far from being done. Things will surround, the Hellbats will fall. We'll just have ourselves the couple of lurkers finishing up. Another lurker or two getting burrowed as well. One lurker already going down. There we go, just going to start pushing forwards here. This is the chance for Rogue to kind of get in position here and push through these tanks, but he's just not making enough progress. He needs to get on top of these tanks and kill them if he's really going to hold these positions. Now Lurkers are running back to try and burrow again, not quite fully in position. Lurkers on the right side going to get broken down, and that means that access to this 4th base is gained by Clem. And if you can get rid of this 4th base, Rogue's in a ton of trouble now. Yeah, there's just nothing to stop the Marines anymore, and so we're actually going to see the Lurkers take a step forward, try and get in range of some of the tanks here. But with the Marines coming back across, Clem is going to comfortably take a second game. And this one is going to look a lot better for him than that first game did. Right from the start this time. Clem still didn't find maybe ton. In the bottom left corner, however, red Zerg player here down 0-2, looking to make the bounce back happen. Can he do it? It is Rogue. I'm a little bit of a believer, honestly. I am a little bit of a believer. Would love to see what he can do. Is in the top left corner of the map, our blue Terran player representing Team Liquid. This is Clem. Alright, game 3 of this best of 5 series. We get this underway. Gonna have ourselves a barracks coming up in a couple of moments, getting that online. Overlord heading up to the top left. Hatch, gas pool, all coming through. Barracks in production, getting this on the way. Oh, I'm gonna catch my breath, guys. It's been kind of a crazy set of matches. Well, this game is probably maybe the least crazy we've seen. It has been a bit of a day so far, that is for sure. Thank you everyone so much for joining us up until now. Appreciate you all being here. Thank you for watching. And if you're on the YouTube, hit the like and subscribe. If you're on the Twitch, hit the follow. Greatly appreciate it. The viewership's been bonkers today, so thank you so much. You know, we've got great games, but it's still great to see the viewership doing so well during that. Couple Lings chase that Reaper away. Reaper gonna try and fight back. Couple Queens coming about. Ling speed coming through. Drone and the Overlord coming up as well. This will be there. Reaper gets chased away. Queen stepping over. Reaper in the corner, figuring out what it would like to maybe try and do as the Queen continues to step up. Reaper gets chased again. Drone takes a little bit of damage. Forward command building. CC on the way. Rax on the tech lab coming up also. Alien still producing. SCV coming about. Link speed not far from finishing. And with those Hellions finishing up momentarily, we will also have a Marine and a Stim Pack upgrade coming through. The Lair is starting up from Rogue. Link speed not far from, like I say, being done. All of that going to be a big deal here very shortly, as we just have the Lings going to step back out onto the map and actually going to find, or attempt to find a wraparound on that Reaper. Grenade is going to go off, but the Lings get bounced around into nowhere. Plane steps up, Queen going to be there. We'll see Reaper going down, couple of things fall. The Lair on the way from Rogue, so 2-base Lair. Now, is this going to be like a full-on 2-base Lair Nidus network, or is this potentially going to be some kind of, I mean, there's no Roadtron going down. Now extra gases come up, that suggests we're going to see a Spire 2-base Muta to try and switch things up from Rogue. I'm personally not completely convinced on the 2-base Spire, if that's what this is going to be. We start a Baneling nest right now. I mean, there's the Spire. I was going to say, it had to be something, right? I mean, you couldn't just build nothing there, right? That did seem to be the way it was going, but yeah, I don't think we could get away with just continuing to do that, so makes sense to try and shut that one down. Queen's coming about, the Hellions are going to come over. Just going to have ourselves the Bane Nest and the Spire continuing through the drones. Going to produce across into the front, as we do see the Overseer coming around up to the top as well. Medivacs, Marines, and the Stim Pack continue to come through as the engineering base will continue to settle into place. When you play team-based Spire, you need to really successfully hold the Terran player back. If Clem gets any chance to fight across the map when the mutas have been made, it's going to be very scary. So you're going to have to be completely on top of it as a rogue. You're going to have to be like really good with these mutalisks. You currently have the attempted to drop into the main. I actually think this build is kind of rough for rogue as well, because this was only 2 Hellions from Clem straight into Marines. Those Marines already have stim. They're going to have combat shield. Like, unless he catches those full medevacs and kills a bunch of Marines like that, this would be kind of crazy as we just continue up. The Lings continue in. Gain speed continuing up. Marines and medevacs will continue back over. Overseer to the top side. See, I think an interesting play is going to contaminate the starport. We're now going to start building a Widow Mine as the mutas show themselves here. How well can we hold this back? Obviously, Clem doesn't want to overstim, but honestly, I look at Clem's army and I'm like, I feel like we want to try and go. He's going to try and step up. Marines and the Hellions stepping around as well. Siege Chang taking a shot. Again, more mutas coming back, +1 flyer attack, Balance speed, all continuing to build. Trying to come up, just going to jump onto the siege tank there for a second. A few Marines come in from 2 different angles. A couple of those Marines continue to drop. The Hellions getting across there also. Still got our 1-1 upgrades of Clem not far from being finished, so look to wrap those up in a couple of moments as well. As those things are going to knock their way through that set of rocks, open up that space. I mean, Rogue has successfully held Clem back. I'm just worried that he didn't do any damage in the process, and so Clem being held back is not for a result of like scrambling around trying to play defense, but more a case of he's just super happy to build up a large army, and when he does attack, he's going to be extremely powerful. I can definitely understand the concern, right? And where Rogue might come into some trouble here. Marines step up, Marines and a few mutas get chased the other way. Just going to push those back across. Hardback coming through, the 2-2 upgrades are coming about. Drilling claws, +1 vehicle plating. All of that coming in as well as Marine Marauder Medevac continues to produce. The drilling claws not far from being done. Things and meters actually going to wrap around a group of Marines there that were just very far forward. Not sure what the idea of those was from Clem. Clem's supply, by the way, 184 to 167. The sheer pure force of macro from Clem right now is a little crazy. As put a mine there, gonna force the meters to be a little careful. 9 more meters just started in production. Rogue comes into being maxed out. He needs to figure out what his finishing touches are going to be on this. And additional mutilus finishing. And they be impactful. The Marine's going to stim across the side. Widow Mine does not go off there, but the Marines get underneath and they pick off a Muta and the Overseer. Not really worth it for the Widow Mine, is it? Widow Mine pretty cheap, easy to replace. Overseer and the Mutalisk, a little bit more expensive in comparison. Fire comes over the left-hand side. Hatch going to start taking some shots. Riddler's going to just jump in. You're going to see a missile turret taking damage. A couple of Widowmine shots going off as SCVs will be in some trouble. Don't actually kill any. See success here? No. Missile turret survives as well. Man, Mutalisk defense has been great so far here from Clem. It's been really good so far. Let me see a few more of these SCVs going down. The medevacs continue to come back over. 2-2 upgrades on the way from Rogue. Clem's already on 2-2. One of the things you sacrifice to go into the mutas this early is the upgrades. That's now becoming an issue as you're going to be behind for the fights. Clem just has had these mutas cornered and he kills off a bunch of them as they finally make their way out. Oof. And again over here, but the Widowmine goes off. Units are going to be in position again, so the defense is going to be good. More shots continue to come around. Just going to be having our Bioforce continue to come back over. And that 3-3 on the way. Just going to see the Banes rolling down this ramp. They feels like they do more damage to the rocks than they do to the bio units. Does not feel as though Rogue is making enough of an impact in these games to me. I mean, don't want to call it too soon, but I need to see it like a spark from Rogue or something, like a fight that goes well for him to kind of make me believe in this, because right now it just ain't happening. Clem is being extremely patient. He knows that he can get to Ghost kind of freely here while being in a very good position, and he's just doing exactly that, because he knows that that's one way he will not lose this game. How can he lose the game? Maybe moving forward a bit too aggressively, getting wiped out by a Ling Bei Muta army, right? You know, letting the mutas create too much, letting the mutas create too much chaos because he's being too aggressive. That's a dead Ghost Academy. That's actually something of a nice pick off there from Rogue. So he finds a Ghost Academy in the corner. The Ultralisk Cavern builds on the side of Rogue, so we get that started up. And the bio units and the Ghosts continue to come back over as well. New SCVs going down. This Cavern is about to be done soon. I mean, we're making the correct switch up here. The Ultras are necessary. You're not going to win this game on Ling Bei Muta alone, so Ultras do seem to be kind of a bit of a necessary addition to this defensively. Or aggressively even. Just generally. Bane's going to smash through. Ghost is going to be taking some damage. Actually, nice little surround on a Ghost and a little bit of bio in the front. The attempt to go in on the right-hand side as well. If the mutas, they go back and forth a little bit. And they get a missile turret or so, but still very kind of superficial damage in the grand scheme of things. One with the 5th base established here. We're actually going to see mutas roll into the Ghosts over there. Do we get some snipes on the exit as well? The mutas get out of reach at least. Coming back through, just going to be seeing the Ling Bane continuing about as well. And Ling Bane Muta continuing through. The Free Marine is going to get jumped on. Libs, Ghosts, +3 vehicle plating on the high ground, +1 ship weapons coming up as well. It's going to be seeing the mutas and the Overseer is going to come back over. Widowmine's going to shoot there. That's going to be a few mutas going down. Widowmine shot going to go in. Banes are going to show up. Clem's going to kill a lot of them on the way in. They're never going to blow up the planetary. Still 12 SCVs. That doesn't even seem that great, all things considered. I mean, it is damage done, though, as Clem tries to deny the mutas in the main base once again. We actually do bust down this base over here. I saw that running through. Observer didn't catch it. So we've seen the mutas getting chased away. Overseas going about. Bile going to get underneath, and a couple of snipes will come through. Mutalisk count has obviously been taking some big hits, down to only 11, so the control of the Mutalisk is definitely waning. Now we're going to have the Ultras taken to the stage. Is Rogue in a good enough position to really make these Ultras have an impact? That was a lot of SCVs killed, but Clem actually just responds by going up on army supply. He doesn't even rebuild that many of the SCVs, so a lot of army supply available for Clem here. 153 army supply currently. Blings and Banes start running up into the center. Well, Clem's going to turn around and start dealing with this. A couple of Widowmines get burrowed. If they connect, that's going to be huge. The Thor did get blown up by those Banes. The Medivacs actually have to evacuate the Ghosts. Clem getting caught a little bit out of position there. Full Medivac did not go down, so none of the full Medivacs went down. The Banes are going to start reaching these Ghosts again. We're going to try and spread and deal with this as Rogue. The problem is the snipes coming through at the tail end of this will be huge, but we don't have any Ghost energy left, so the last few Ultras are going to be okay. Oh, Clem just stepped a little bit too far forward on that left-hand side. I've been very dismal about Rogue's chances all game long. I've not been excited about Rogue's position. And that fight kind of felt like it came out of nowhere, no? Income advantage has been in Rogue's favor a little bit, but that's not super abnormal. Oh, Clem just took a horrible fight. Look at that. He plummets down and Rogue rebuilds much sooner. Obviously, the worker damage, I guess that's the combination of he just took SCV losses. So because he just took SCV losses, he couldn't really afford to take a bad fight like this one. That's a massive Widowmine to start this off, though, as Rogue is going to continue to swarm on forwards. SCV is going down. Orbital Commander is likely going to be in some trouble there as well. Clem pulling back to defend on his natural. I mean, Rogue's in some trouble. Clem's in some trouble here because he just doesn't have the economy right now to actually stick around in this game for much longer if he keeps taking fights like this. I think this really was, again, the kind of the 1-2 punch of Rogue hit his eco and then took a good fight. I think if Rogue takes that fight 3 minutes ago before he hits the economy and hits those two bases and takes down SCVs in a base, I think Clem just kind of bounced back from that fight. It's like, not the best fight. Finally something nice for Rogue, but it's whatever. But, and at the same way, on its own, that kind of strike to the economy is like, well, Clem's rebuilding the CC. You know, he lost a few SCVs. I feel like that's very replaceable. He doesn't even feel the need to replace them. He's building a larger army. But both of those things going Rogue's way back to back is massively favorable, as we can see now, because Rogue is clearly very far ahead after that. It's so fascinating to see how that works. Because, like I say, like, you know, individually, each of those moves felt like, you know, good, but not game-winning. Combined, and Clem is in trouble. Now, he's still only 17 army supply behind, so don't count him completely out. The question mark will be, can he hold on against this while also handling some of the attempts on the economy? We're going to have to step back here. Liberator is going to be left to do some of the damage. SCV is already dropping. The Ultras are going to barge their way up into the natural expansion. Clem's army supply continues to fall. So many Banelings able to roll into the Ghosts here. They will begin to not explode because we're missing detection apparently. So the Banes is going to go up into the main base instead. Ultras are going to derp about with Liberator shooting back at them. Man, if we had some detection, these Ghosts would have been deaded. Those Banelings would have had a very good time against them, but that has just not happened. But yeah, I think Rogue is going to bring this series back. We are actually going to get a map win on the board for Rogue. I ain't going to complain about it. Very happy to see Rogue able to make a bounce back here. Vikings jump back up into the sky, and Rogue is going to take Game 3. We are going to see this series go on. I will not lie, I was not really believing in... As Rogue does not let this die. In the bottom left corner, our blue Zerg player. This is Rogue. As we have in the top right-hand side, the red Terran player repping Team Liquid, it is Clem. I actually can't believe this went to a Game 4, to be honest, guys. I'm very surprised by that one. As we get into this right now on Alcyone. Again, just to keep on reiterating, this is not the new patch. We'll have a new patch tournament next week. A lot moving around. Reaper in the orbital coming up. Taking a couple of moments. We have a couple of drones moving around. We see now Reaper coming down through the center, moving across for a moment or two, trying to see a little bit of what's going on. Reaper gonna shoot, a couple of Lings gonna be fighting back, just gonna be seeing the Reaper piling back to the side. Lings be coming through, the drones continue to build. And get settled as that Queen will fire, and the Reaper is just gonna get chased away, so just gonna get a little bit of pushback there. Quite a lot of Lings here from Rogue early. All 6 of them trying to play defense, and the Reaper will not get much. Getting turned around right now. Queen gonna continue to sit at the front as well. What day will be the patch turning? Probably Tuesday, Wednesday. Let's say Friday. Probably Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday, actually. I don't know what I'm going to do on Friday instead, but I probably do Tuesday, Wednesday. I had 4 days set aside for tournament next week. I think if we do a patch tournament, we'll probably do it on 3 days. We might do like an invitational patch tournament and then an open patch tournament. Or, brainwave. Or on Tuesday we do an open qualifier, and then on Wednesday and Friday we do groups, and then on Sunday we do playoffs. I kind of like that. I actually have I have a Pokemon tournament on the Sunday, but I'm kind of thinking this is all next week, guys. I'm kind of thinking I might skip my Pokemon tournament and just do the playoffs of a patch tournament. I think that'd be actually a lot of fun. I think I'd be very down to do that, to be honest. Alright, well, we just have ourselves, obviously, this setup. That's all still in mind, just figuring out. But yeah, probably this time next week we'll have either a qualifier or a group. Depends how I decide to line it up. I just haven't decided just yet. That'd be nice to do a qualifier, though. Invite a bunch of people, do a qualifier for the last couple of spots. I'm just thinking like a 10-player tournament, 5-player group, so we get like 10 best-of-3s. I think that'd be pretty neat. 10 best-of-3s per group. Bunch of different matchups. The only problem with doing a qualifier for that is balancing the races, because obviously you'd like to have a good racial balance, but I guess if we just invite 3-3-2, it should be kind of fine. Yeah, Pokemon, I play a trading card game. I have a cup next weekend, but I had a pretty miserable experience at the regional this past weekend, so I'm not really feeling like playing. So I think I might skip and do some StarCraft instead. Hellions are going to continue to come around. And you just have ourselves the Lair drones and the spores all coming up. Banshee going to be moving about a little bit as well. Roach is on the map here from Rogue. First time we're really seeing Roaches, and they're going to get to the other side, but there's a Banshee. I mean, Banshee's obviously going to be able to clean this up. The question will be how many SCVs do we lose in the process? Is it too many? Is that a substantial number? Or how does that all play out? A few of these Roaches continue to fight. A Hellion will go down. A few Marines are going to fight back the other side. Roach goes down. And that will be a pick-off. 1-1 upgrades of the Stim Pack, both continuing to come on through. Now ourselves 1-1 upgrades. The Stim Pack coming by. Again, Roach speed +1, +1. Nest coming up as well. We are going to see this Banshee going to turn around and hit the Queens a little bit. So some damage being done there. Second Banshee here to help harass. We are going to continue into those missile upgrades for the moment, so continue to get those missile upgrades up and on the way, so bringing all of that up and around. And we keep that going. Overseer coming over. Again, the 1-1 attack upgrades coming about. Stimpak coming through. The Infestation Pit is on the way up as well on the side of Rogue. And the Roaches and Ling's going to be here to hit these Hellions a little bit. Upgrades continue up again. Ling speed, Bane nest speed. Roach speed, all producing. Just gonna get ourselves the Hydralisk Den on the way from Clem from Rogue as well. So getting into going the missile upgrades to start the Roach Ravager initially, but then moving into the Ling Bane and the follow up. It's not an uncommon way of playing this out. It's fairly typical, honestly. That's what we're seeing so far. Again, Marines and tanks just gathering there on the natural. We do see the medevac moving out onto the map as well. Ravagers on the way. Ling's building, Hive producing, hatchery. Just coming up to being about halfway done as well. The medevacs get back to the center. A single Marine drops off on the watchtower. A few more of these Marines will unload and just going to start picking away at some of the creep spread. And a few Marines are just going to go after the Overlord as well. So Overlord will be going down. Overlord will fall. Nice cleanup. All of those Crypt Teamers going down. Also here, Overlord nearby. It's going to get grabbed. Marines able to take that out. The Roach Ravager try and step back through. 2-2 upgrades, combat shield, +1 vehicle weapons. All of that's still on the way. The extra couple of barracks coming by. Also here, again, we got our siege tanks trying to set up as well. I'm just going to be seeing ourselves an opportunity to push this Marine tank force forward. A couple of Crypt Teamers will continue to go down. Marine blob is looking terrifying, by the way, as we are going to step up. Ling's going to come in from the upper left. These Banes trying to get a catch on the Marines. The Marines a little bit stuck in a corner. It's got to be a medevac evacuation from Clem, and he does get away there. As you now just see the rest of the Roach Ravager coming back through. Marines and medevacs continue to set up. We are going to continue to come around for a little bit, just having ourselves this Roach Ravager force continue to come over. I'm just trying to see what is going on for a couple of moments. A couple of units getting pushed back. I just gotta at least just like, hey guys, really enjoying this TvZ, by the way. She never jumps up like this. You guys know how camera shy she is? She just decided to just come say hi for once. So I'd show you guys just for the so random for her to jump up on me and say hi. So I'll show you guys some Ellie lovers. We do have Marine tank back in position. Then we do have our Ling Bane Roach Ravager continue to come back over. Marines, siege tank gonna come about, and is it enough from Clem? I mean, supply is starting to trickle into his favor just a little bit. A couple corrosive biles coming about, and just have ourselves the Bane's gonna try and reach those Marines. Also trying to get through with that. Pulling back a little bit. Ling Bane still chasing. The 2-2 upgrades about to finish up on the side of Clem. Still got Marine tank on the move, still got more units in the center. Ultra on the way up as well. Ghost Academy building up, Sensor Towers coming in. Because our Shells is about to finish, we have the 3-3 upgrades from Clem also now starting up, so we're going to get straight into those upgrades. And there's a couple of good fights mixed in here from Rogue. Clem is starting to stabilize and dropping down a couple of additional command centers on the top, and the 12 o'clock getting those established. A few Marines are going to stim through into the middle of the map as well. Parasec's bomb hits a couple of different medevacs, forcing those to split apart a little bit. Things will drop a scan. We see a few of those creep teamers continuing to go down. The Ling Bane's going to continue to run up in towards the rest of this army. Marine tank will take a step away. A couple corrosive files, tank going down. The Bane's still chasing. A couple of those tanks continue to fire. Bane's taking a blast from the tanks. Good target fire all around from Clem. Targeting with the tanks initially, then the bio at the end as well, making sure the Banes cannot connect in the way that they typically need to be successful. And Clem is going to go on the push back down to the bottom side of the map, continue to shove towards the bottom left-hand corner. Bling, Bane, Ravager, Ultra continuing through the Bio Army. Going to have to take a couple steps back as well, continue to stim away here as we are going to be seeing a couple of tanks coming forward. Marines are going to continue to step back. Corrosive Vials are going to land on the siege tanks as well. The Ultralisk will go down. The Ling Roach Ravager is still taking hits. More Ultras on the way. I do not think that that's going to make a difference here for Rogue. I think Clem is getting into a little bit too good of a position, a little bit too strong of a setup. I think this game might be getting decided fairly shortly as Clem looks to potentially just shut this down at a 3-1 scoreline in this best of 5. You know, I'm happy Rogue brought a map back, though. Brought back a little bit, made this a little bit more feisty once we made our way through. Drones gathering, just going to have ourselves the, again, +2/+3 on the way up as well. Steps up, just going to be seeing the Ultra. Going to eat a couple of snipes if it had stayed in range, but it actually does get away from that. Now the Bane, Ultra, Ravager, Ling Force just going to come through. Tanks are going to be hit by Blinding Clouds. The Banes will get to connect a little. Not really finding the big clusters of Marines, but it's enough for Rogue to at least force Clem to lift up and back away. A lot of those snipes getting forced to kind of back up before they could really do too much. The Clem army now on the left side will hit, and this hatchery will be in trouble immediately. Hatchery will be falling in the next few moments. Just going to see the Medivacs boosting in toward this bottom side of the map as well. Ultras continue to dive forward. Marines are going to come through. Queen going down. Ultras are still diving up. The Ghost, the Bio in the back hanging about. The gold base falling. Clem doing great, but needs to kind of clean up these Ultras and these Lings. He's starting to lose a lot of SCVs. More snipes coming down as these Ultras will be getting cleaned up. 28 SCVs going down. The Bio still fighting. The Lings getting turned away one more time. Rogue making this scrappier than I think a lot of us expected. A little transfusion too on the Ultra to buy it a couple of extra seconds. It gives the Lings more damage output time. Clem's still winning out as he's taking down bases that I think Rogue really kind of needs to hold on to if he wants to stay in this. Down 25 army supply. It is a difficult challenge for Rogue to bounce back in this right now. Again, a couple of Vipers are setting up. The energy, trying to get those Parasitic Bombs and Blinding Clouds online and ready to go once again here. +3 melee upgrade on the Evo Chamber there as well, as the Marines are going to drop off in the back of this. Distractor taking a few shots. A couple of drones will take some nibbles as well. Again, additional siege tanks and Ghosts continue to come up. Lings, Ultras, +3 melee, all of that coming through as well. And those Medivacs going to get caught by the Parasitic Bombs, and actually that's going to be a good chunk of supply going down because those Marines shouldn't be able to trade for too much, although Ultras will be pretty derpy on the minerals. So that's going to be a factor as our Ultras continue to come back around. Ravager's going to fire. A couple of Marines coming about as well. I'll just come back the other direction here as just see ourselves the Marines coming back through, and another hatchery maybe in trouble. Going to get a Queen initially. Maybe it's not enough Marines to put the hatch in trouble, but still cool ideas as we do see the Ling Bane getting picked up and pulled on away. Breathe for a second. The action calms down. Clem's still working off of 5 bases, so his economy is continuing to be very well established currently. Parasitic Bomb goes off onto the Medivac. A couple snipes are going to line up. The Banes are going to come through. A few more snipes coming down. Bio continue to pull backwards here. The Vipers are going to take in some shots. The Ultras stepping forward, also going to get grabbed. These Ghosts will be able to go after more of these Ultras perhaps. Rogue supply dipping down to 40 below, 45 below Clem's. He's charging forward with some Ultras, and maybe the Ghosts don't have a chance to snipe just yet. If they do find a chance to snipe, I think these Ultras are going to be in trouble. We step back. I love that move. Let the Bio tank for a second, pull the Ghosts away so they get some snipes off. Snipes from the reinforcing Ghosts on the high ground. Going to be a big deal. The tanks should be good enough to finish off these Ultras now as well. And it does look as though Clem cleans up what is the final push of Rogue. Clem is going to take it 3-1 over Rogue in the quarterfinals. He sets up a rematch from yesterday's WardiTV Mondays with Shin